Let me ask you something. When was the last time you actually checked if the rules around your money changed? Not the big headlines, not the loud news alerts. I mean the quiet rules, the ones nobody talks about, the ones that don't trend, the ones that only matter after they affect you. Think about that for a second. Pause. How many financial decisions have you made assuming the rules were still the same? And what if they weren't? What if something shifted last month, last week, yesterday, and you never noticed? Would you even know? I'm Ash, and this is Money Drip, where we don't chase hype, we don't sell shortcuts, we don't pretend money is magic. We study how money moves through human behavior, because here's the truth. Most people don't fail financially because they're lazy. They fail because they're unaware. They repeat habits on autopilot. They trust outdated assumptions. They never pause and ask, wait, is this still true? So, let me ask you, are you actively managing your money life? Or are you just reacting to it? Now, let's talk about what actually changed. For years in the US, if you bought precious metals with cash, reporting only started at $10,000. 10,000. That number mattered. It was like an invisible fence. Stay under it, and nobody noticed. Cross it, and paperwork started. Most people never crossed it. So for them, the system didn't exist. It felt free. It felt private. It felt simple. Then quietly, that line moved. It dropped to $3,000. 3,000. That's not a luxury number. That's a normal number. That's a regular person number. That's a weekend project number. That's a saved for a few months number. Suddenly, normal transaction becomes a record. Same behavior, different outcome. So ask yourself, how many rules in your life changed without you realizing? Now notice what just happened in your head. When I said 3,000, you reacted. Maybe you thought, wow, that's low. Maybe you thought, that's reasonable. Maybe you felt uncomfortable. That reaction wasn't logic. That was psychology. It's called anchoring. Your brain grabs onto the first important number it hears, and everything gets judged relative to that. 10,000 felt safe. 3,000 feels exposed. Nothing about the money changed. Only the frame did. So think about this: what numbers are controlling your life right now? Your salary, your rent, your credit limit, your savings goal. Who decided those were normal for you? And why did you accept them? Now, let's talk about what people do when they see limits. They try to get around them. It's human nature. We don't like being boxed in. So people start thinking, what if I split it? What if I wait a day? What if I keep it under? Feels smart, feels strategic, feels like you're beating the system. But legally, that's called structuring. And it's illegal, not because of the amount, because of the intention. The system isn't watching your wallet, it's watching your behavior. So here's a real question: how often do you look for shortcuts instead of building understanding? Because shortcuts feel good in the moment, but they usually create long-term stress. Now, let's talk about data. Above $3,000, dealers collect your identity, your name, your address, your social, your occupation, your transaction history. And that information doesn't disappear. It doesn't expire. It doesn't forget. It gets stored, archived, cross-referenced. It becomes part of your financial story forever. Default text. Here's what's interesting. Most people think this is about privacy. It's not. It's about psychology. When you know your choices are recorded, you behave differently. You hesitate. You second guess. You delay. You overthink. That's not discipline. That's anxiety. So ask yourself, do you make better decisions when you're calm or when you're nervous? Exactly. When people know they're being watched, they don't become smarter. They become emotional, more cautious, more reactive, more afraid of mistakes. That's loss aversion. We hate losing more than we love winning. We fear regret more than we value progress. So we play small, we hesitate, we freeze, and over time, that costs more than any rule ever could. Now, let's look at the dealers. They're under pressure too. More compliance, more systems, more costs. So some raise minimums, some tighten policies, some quit, which means fewer options, less convenience, more friction. and friction is dangerous. Because friction kills momentum. You ever notice how one small inconvenience can stop you from doing something for months? Going to the gym, starting a budget, opening an account, making a plan. Same thing here. So think, where has friction quietly slowed your life? Now about taxes. This rule doesn't change tax law, but it changes visibility, and visibility changes behavior. When everything is documented, memory doesn't matter. You saying I forgot doesn't matter. You saying I didn't know doesn't matter. Records win every time. Imagine this. If every financial decision you made was visible, would you be proud or stressed? Default text no zoom out. Why do governments do this? It's not personal, it's systemic. When debt rises, when costs rise, when stability feels shaky, institutions tighten control, not with speeches, not with drama, with systems, with forms, with databases. Here's the real question when pressure hits your personal life. Do you get disciplined, or do you get reckless? Every regulation follows a pattern. Start high, lower slowly, remove exceptions, normalize control. It's gradual, so nobody panics. It's like temperature, you don't notice until you're boiling. So, are you paying attention, or just reacting? Now listen closely. This isn't about medals. It's not about rules. It's about adaptability. Some people panic. Some people complain. Some people learn. The third group wins. Which one are you? Here's the money drip mindset. Awareness over anxiety. Systems over shortcuts. Process over panic. Build habits that survive change, not habits that depend on perfect conditions. Ask yourself, if the rules change tomorrow, would you still be okay? Most people ask, how do I avoid this? High performers ask, how do I adapt? One mindset hides, the other grows. One stays fragile, the other compounds. Which one is yours? Money isn't about hiding, it's about clarity, and clarity builds confidence. Confidence builds consistency. Consistency builds freedom. So let me leave you with this. Do you really know your financial position? Or are you guessing? Are you reacting? Or designing? Script. I'm Ash. This is Money Drip, where we don't chase fast money. We build strong behavior, one decision at a time. And I'll see you in the next one.